Today is day 7 of the $100,000 account challenge. In the last video, we left off the challenge with about $1,100 in the account, and it's been pretty disappointing because we started out with $3,000. And where we left off was we were swinging this trade on Google. If you didn't watch the last video, we got into this trade on Google because we were down to a pretty good support level on the higher time frames where we should be seeing a bounce. We got in at 347 down here, and then shortly after the news about ending the war came out, which added fuel to the fire on this trade. Now, my contracts were far away at a $370 strike price, and I had 11 contracts. As the market opened, if we look here at the 5-minute time frame, we opened at about 362, and my 11 contracts were up about 800%. So I bought these contracts at $9 each, so I was invested in this trade a total of $99. Then as the market opened here, I sold 3 of the 11 contracts for about $60 each. The market briefly came up, and at the high of the wick right here, the contracts were worth $100 a piece. So I was up about 1,100 very briefly. Then as Google tanked in the morning, the likelihood of reaching 370 got, very unlikely, so my contracts devalued very, very fast. By the low right here, my contracts were back down to like $9 each, which is a wild, wild swing. I just held on for right there and didn't sell anything, and eventually we got back up where I sold one more contract up here near the high because we're sweeping out the pre-market highs right here, which was a good place for me to sell one. And I wanted to sort of just sell as we crossed each one of these lines. So the 2 blue lines that you see, that's a resistance level. And then these other lines I put at highs where there's likely liquidity. And so I was going to sell one at the high of each, or at the line on the highs. So each one of these lines I was going to sell one as it popped up, but unfortunately it just never got there. And I'm realizing in hindsight that I sort of messed up my trade management. I sold 3 of my 11 contracts at market open, but really I should have sold 5 or 6 of them. Then as the market popped up here, I probably should have sold, 2 or 3 instead of just 1. So I ended up only selling 4 of the contracts, and 7 of them ended up expiring worthless. So I did not capitalize on the 800% return that this trade was offering. I got a little bit too greedy on this. I really thought that Google would keep going after it rallied like this. I mean, it was the strongest stock out of all of the tech stocks. It was the strongest, and so I thought it was going to keep going. And so because of that, I did not secure as much profit as I wanted. I ended up walking away with about $100 profit total. Now, the other trade that I took today was on Tesla, and I took this trade for a couple of reasons. As we can see on the higher time frame, as we can see over here, we've got a head and shoulders pattern, an inverted head and shoulders on the 1-hour chart. So I knew that if we held this general level and we completed this head and shoulders pattern, we could probably see a retest of the 415 level. Not only that, but this level in general, if we zoom way out, is a really solid support level where we've bounced many times in the past. And so I knew that I wanted to be buying in that zone. Then along with that, we've also got this anchored VWAP here, which is from the most recent low before the news with Iran came out about the war ending. And so I think this could be in general a market bottom. And so I think this VWAP could could offer good support. Not only that, but we've also got our moving averages that should offer a bit of dynamic support in this range. So this whole range in here offered a lot of different support, but it was up to the trade entry to really determine if it's a good trade or not. So as the market came down and touched the VWAP, I went ahead and entered right there. This I only entered with one contract, and initially it went up pretty nicely. I was up about $100 or 100% on that contract, which was really nice. However, I didn't want to sell it yet just because SpaceX was about to IPO in a couple of minutes, and I thought SpaceX and Tesla would probably rally super hard all of a sudden together, and so I just wanted to wait a little bit longer. Then Tesla came down even lower. Maybe people were selling Tesla to buy SpaceX, and we came all the way down to this lower support level, and I actually averaged down my trade in this zone, which I really hate doing. Averaging down my losing trades is a big problem for me, but I felt pretty confident doing it in this case. I wasn't like FOMOing or like getting hopeful down here. I knew that this was a good setup with all of the support that we had. So I averaged down the trade. I was only in one contract and I added 3 more down here. And then as it started to recover, I started selling for profit in this zone right here, in this support level or resistance level. I sold 3 of them for about $20 profit each. So I made about $60. And then on that final runner, it got up to being worth about $120 profit at the high right here. And honestly, I really should have just taken the money. Again, just like the Google trade, I was getting a little bit greedy with my trade management and I didn't sell it. And so let me know in the comments, do you think that was the wrong choice, or is that the right choice? Should I hold on to my runner all the way till the end, or should I sell it when I'm up over 100? I was probably up like 200% at this point. However, I just couldn't bring myself to sell it because looking at what we've got with a head and shoulders pattern, we've got this whole thing as a support level on VWAP, on the moving averages. Like I thought for sure we were going to see higher, especially because we're about to break above what I think is the neckline up here. And so yeah, I didn't sell it, and these contracts were a 410 strike price. So if the price doesn't get above there, then they expire worthless, which ended up happening to my runner. So I didn't capitalize on that $120 profit. I made about $60 on this trade and about $150 on the Google trade. So it's a little bit unfortunate how it played out, because if I sold at the very top, it would have been over $1,000 profit total today rather than about $200. So it's a bit unfortunate, but I'm not too upset. I feel like another day in a different world, these trades would have gone straight up and the day would have been a lot larger than $1,000. Maybe that's a greedy way of thinking, but overall, I'm not too upset. We came into today with about $1,000 cash in the account and about $100 invested in the Google trade. Then at the end of the day, now my account balance is at $1,290. So we're up almost $200 profit plus our $100 back on the Google trade. So that's it for today. Click like and click subscribe so you can watch us grow this account up to $10,000 and then $100,000. And yeah, I will see you on day 8 of the challenge.